recording and I will share my screen. Oh, we'll let some people in and then I will share my screen. So here we go. So we will start with Frank. So he is currently compiling issues around errors in validation software with LaTeX tagging project. Yes, that sounds like a big problem if it's stopping accessible documents, if it's making them being flagged as invalid.
Yeah, basically, it's not just the LaTeX project, it's just about PDFs that are incorrectly flagged as invalid. We see a lot of that because the validators, most of them cannot handle PDF 2.0 so far, and therefore flag something like PDF UA2 as invalid out of the box, basically trying to match that against UA1. But it's more than that. It's also that there are issues with UA1 documents. So that is going to be part of that collection as well. And we are looking for everybody to sort of come up with examples, because only if we have good examples that we have collected, there's a chance that we as a sort of group of people who care about this go after the vendors and see that we get things moving. This is something where I'm also very much looking at this group, because I think from the university's perspectives, I mean, the goal is not to get a check mark. The goal is to get something that people can actually use. And that is partly not the case if you look at what comes out of the validation software.
Yeah, I think that's something many of us have complained about. So yeah, it's wonderful that there's some movement on that. And it sounds like lots of people are excited about that. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to add there? Okay, thank you, Frank. So moving on to Matt. I've been using Claude code, which is good. Work with map picks. And experimenting with smiles and various things. Do you have anything you want to discuss in particular there, Matt?
A couple of things. So Smiles is a syntax language for writing chemical symbols. You can write it with text and then get it rendered. If anyone knows of any accessible chemistry groups, because it's there doesn't seem to be a way of translating Smiles syntax to like a written description of a compound. So I'm working with Claude to build one right now. But I'm sure I'm not the first person that's thought of this. So I'm hoping someone else is a bit further ahead. What else? Oh, other things I've been looking at with the image description tool that I demonstrated in November, I think adding some local compute tools so that you can run in the browser to help reduce confabulation. So basically running some OCR, image categorization, depth perception, stuff to get additional content, which you can then supply to the LLM to help it correct things. Because a lot of the times you're uploading a diagram which might be subtly different to one which is in its training. And so it might think, well, usually in the diagrams like this, the label is on this side. So I'll say it's on this side, even though the label actually isn't on that side. It's on a different side just because the instructor put it in a different place than usual. That's increased. I think we've gone from like 6 out of 10 to 8 out of 10 on accuracy when I've been measuring. But it's very expensive because I've done maybe 500 API calls to 12 different models to test, and it's a nightmare. The other thing is, while I was looking at basically local LLMs, is I was looking for text to speech. So there's, I found a library called Supertonic, and I've linked that up so that it works with text and also the ARIA labels from MathJax. so that you can create basically like an MP3 file like you get from Ally, but that actually is useful compared with and doesn't require on Word as the input. You can use Markdown, LaTeX, or whatever. And final mic drop from Blackboard, we found they made a big fuss about, oh, now we support LaTeX in Ultra and so on. And then we found that it doesn't work with the Ally alternative formats. So if you put some LaTeX in an Ultra document and then export it, there's two ways that you could do it. And they're totally variable in how they actually work, and neither actually works. And we ported it and they said, yeah, functioning as designed. It only works with a Word source. So Blackboard continue to introduce new tools, which they shout about. Everyone thinks, wow, that's cool. That's all working now. So surely it will work with Ally as well. And then when we go and test it, it doesn't. And Blackboard kind of saying, why would you be stupid enough to think it should work? Which always gets me. I think they probably know that it ought to work, but it's not their priority. So, but we have to spend a lot of time testing what we think ought to work to find that it doesn't, and then write it all up, send it to them, wait for a month, hear back to them, working as designed. So yeah, be good if other universities were doing similar ticket tests and sending the info to Blackboard, because they keep saying we're the only people that bother them about this stuff, and other universities aren't reporting it. So fire up your tickets.
Always a good thing. Good to complain about things to get them fixed. Cool. That's all sounds very interesting. Just on the chemistry point, there used to be some chemists in this group. Are there still chemists in this group? Or these people who work with chemistry?
We could talk to Joseph, who's a chemist. The MathML groups also got some chemical reading that if you set the intent to chemistry.
Yeah.
So we did have a liaison with a chemistry WTC working group at one point.
Yeah, there's definitely some. I think there's definitely some chemists on the mailing list. So if you're looking for people, maybe stick that out there, or yeah, reach out to those additional groups David was talking about. Excellent, thank you, Matt. Vincenzo, some technical updates to BookML. Do you want to discuss these briefly?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my computer is taking some. What? I'm not sure what. Oh, I see what happened. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so no, this is a very technical thing. So I will just mention that. So the way theorems, equations are laid out on a web page can be done in many ways. So the way LaTeX does it is not ideal, I would say, especially for equations they use tables. But you don't need to know all that. So one thing I'm preparing is an update where so the theorems, actually this already happened, but nobody noticed. So that's good or bad, I don't know. So now the theorems are, for example, are announced as landmarks on the page. So instead of appearing to a screen reader in the table of contents, because you would see the headers like section 1, section 2, and then you would have the theorems there in the previous version. Like the default LaTeX way of doing things is like that. Now the theorems are not counted as part of the table of contents, as they shouldn't, because they're not, but they appear in the list of landmarks on the page, which is another thing that the screen readers would tell you. Like you can ask the screen reader, what are the landmarks on the page? So the theorems are there now, and the equations are not yet, because of technical reasons. So there was a bit of setup to sort of groundwork to be done before getting there. So that's the next update. So then numbered equations should appear now as landmarks, and then somebody with a screen reader will be able to know, oh, now there's going to be equation 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 on this page, and they can navigate directly to that. So that's the kind of change that I'm preparing. And actually, I want to ask you people if you know of a good way of interacting with, say, the blind community to hear if somebody wants to test and give feedback on these changes, because I don't have contacts, but if some of you can suggest some ways of getting there, that would be great. Thank you.
I definitely know some people in this group. There were definitely people in this group who've done a lot with the visually impaired community. I know there's the tester I always go to. But yeah, if maybe anybody else has any suggestions, they could either stick their hand up or get in
Yeah,
touch with
I've got I will have a blind student who is quite good on maths, doing an internship with me over summer, so we might be able to kind of just steal a bit of time to explore some of this. Vincenzo, if you want to drop me an email.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I will do. Thank you.
Excellent. And then staying on Lillian, we have updated the LaTeX template for the University of York, and indeed copied over that template to have a non-University of York version, which is now on the website. That's updating the previous template that was written pre-COVID.
No, I think,
So-
yeah, was it
Or was it
2019
just
when we wrote that?
post-COVID? It was a while
Yeah.
ago.
Around then, yeah. We were
So it's
waiting for
not
Frank and
really-
David to do their jobs, which we're very grateful for. Thank you.
Good. Question.
Welcome.
Question's talking at an LMS workshop on accessible maths on the 12th of June. Is that an LMS workshop thing? Oh, is that the education day? Yes. And had a good look at types to HTML conversion. And then you've got your big outreach project, yes, which I know various people are looking forward to. Do you want to discuss maybe a bit of that types to HTML stuff?
Yeah, someone asked for a link before that. Someone asked for a link about that workshop. I don't have one. All I have is the date at the moment. I don't even have a title for what I'm going to be asked to talk about. I think it's an LMS good practice workshop. I think someone's got some funding.
Yeah.
And those have to happen at De Morgan House. So tips to types. It's one of those words I haven't said out loud yet. For those who haven't come across it yet, it's sort of meant to be a thing like LaTeX. It's a language for writing documents that then get rendered. And initially it just targeted PDFs, but they've been working on compiling straight to HTML as well. So I had a look at that, and I've done a couple of things in it which I really like, but they haven't done maths notation in HTML yet, so I haven't looked at that. And I think the syntax for maths in TIPS is not like LaTeX, and I didn't like it when I first looked at it. So I'm still waiting to see what that's going to be like. But I think once that's in, it might be a really good option for writing course notes and things in a way that you can really easily control how it ends up looking in HTML.
It's interesting, definitely something to keep our eyes on, I think. So thank you for looking into that question. Does anyone have any other comments they want to add or questions? Okay. Antonio is busy with exam prep, aren't we all? But good to keep yourself up to date. Serkan is here to listen to others. Okay, that is absolutely fine. Welcome. And it's always good to kind of hear what's going on. David Carlisle is working with PDF Association.
Yeah, that's it just got published this week, so I mentioned it here. It's the PDF LaTeX liaison working group. So it's a bit technical. It's on the internal tagging of PDF with maths in, but some people in this group may be interested.
Excellent, thank
some
you.
people may not be, which is fine. It's on the internal PDF structure for how to tag mathematics.
Good. And it's good that guidance exists, even if maybe not everyone's going to rush to read it. I see several people already are there. Excellent, thank you. Does anyone have any questions for David while we're here? Okay, moving on to another David. David Hodge, been running workshops, drop-ins for colleagues using new shiny Quarto templates. Wonderful. So we can make templates public. Good. I am going to park this because we will be discussing templates a bit later on. But excellent. Thank you, David. We will be discussing that in a bit, so I'll just move on for now in the interests of time. Kat has been working with people to test out the accessibility in Verso. Not heard of Verso? Which uses Lean as its language, but seems to work with LaTeX. Very mathsy and new. Do you want to discuss that a bit, Kat?
Sure, yeah. So got approached by another professional services colleague and an academic colleague. I work as a learning technologist, and asking about accessibility in Verso, and I thought, I have no clue what that is. So let's have a look. And my understanding is that it uses Lean, which is quite similar to Markdown. And for anyone who's sort of not familiar with Markdown, it's quite a simple way of like marking up, ironically marking up text. So you would do like 2 hashes to make a title and that sort of thing. It's not sort of wrapped in loads of code. And this seems to be a customized version of that to make it work better with maths notation and also for proving theorems, which is well beyond my GCSE maths. So I'm not really sure on how it sort of outputs yet. So I've done a screen reader test of the main web page, and it was sort of variable. I used NVDA for it because I don't have JAWS money, but it sort of read out the code side first, which was quite disorientating. And I mean, with me on top knowing nothing about the notation it was telling me, was a little bit disorienting. And then the actual kind of formatted side of it missed out a few bits. So I'm waiting to hear from the educators which bits matter, which bits don't, if there's another way that I've missed that it outputs. But the reason they're sort of excited about Verso and Lean over some other tools is that it's open source and it's free, and it seems to be where the field of maths is going career-wise. So they want to teach it to students as sort of like a valuable skill, and if it can be accessible as well, even better, to sort of give them that kind of custom or editable format, I guess. And yeah, that's kind of where we're up to so far, looking in with interest. I've delved a bit in their forums as well, and one of the developers has been in there saying, look, I'm really keen to make it more accessible. Tell me what I can do and I will invest time into it. So it looks promising, but yeah, at the minute, that's where we're at. It's very much like discovery stage.
Sounds really interesting. I'd be interested to hear more. I think just generally, this might not have percolated, but from a kind of academic side point of view, Lean in maths and Lean is a way of kind of coding up proofs, and it's increasingly being taught. It's kind of seen as a kind of way maths is going to go in the future. So I hadn't really linked those two things as like the accessibility of Lean, bizarrely. So it's good to see there's kind of work being done there, but definitely something it's probably worth us as a group keeping our eyes on slightly. Does anyone else
it's an
have
interesting one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was just
No,
going to say a
fine.
lot of it seems to be built in Visual Studio Code as well. That seems to be the way you kind of write it out.
Yeah.
And that has its own accessibility concerns and issues. So yeah, it's sort of, as you find out one thing, it opens up a million more questions. But anything I learn, I'll report back.
Excellent. That'd be very helpful and anticipated. Does anyone else have any questions or things they want to add there? No. Okay, that's I will look forward to updates there. Thank you, Kat. Yumuna is new to the group and here to stay up to date. A wonderful thing to do. There is a Sigma Network workshop next week on our Markdown. There's a link somewhere that I'm sure someone can find faster than I can, which could be put there if people want. But generally, Sigma Network workshops are quite good, so I would recommend. And then finally, Steve Wang in Nottingham is improving his projects that allow people to use Markdown to generate HTML slides. Good. Can be saved in both Markdown and HTML format, and he's given some examples there. Wonderful. Is there anything else you want to add, Steve?
Yes, so actually this is a program that helps academics to using lightweight tools to generate accessible format of slides and Word, a document. So it supports to using LaTeX to insert equations, and also it supports using LaTeX to generate chemical equations as well. And similar to math work, it supports using smile codes to display the chemical structures. That's quite widely used in the School of Chemistry in University of Nottingham. And it also supports user memory code to generate flowchart. And actually, because this is a lightweight one-page web application, so it's just pure HTML code with JavaScript to generate the whole. And so it doesn't support any complex work like export or output as Word. But if I add some server code, which are suitable, I think. But currently, it's just keep Markdown and HTML as neat as they are. And there's two tools. One tool is generate slides. Another tool is generate pages. Because normally for Markdown tools, it generates continuous HTML page. But considering about some people want a printing out, so it's set as a page styled with navigation by chapters, by headings. So that's the idea. So they support to output the continuous HTML page or a page styled things. So that's suitable for printout. Quite similar like the PDF function, because PDF is suitable for printout. So currently I'm still improving this tool. Yes, if people need to export as a Word, I can consider to provide some server support to output that. But here, provide just two examples. So you can click the link to visit them.
Excellent, thank you. That's always useful having more tools. Does anyone have any questions for Steve? Or
It does look amazing. Thank you, Steve. I think the reason why we always kind of double check and ask if it's available as Word is that Word is always the most editable form for a student making notes. So I think I'm also like, because Frank and David have granted us a wish come true with accessible maths on PDF, my next wish to the fairy godmothers is people to work on students being able to kind of make notes on the fly on HTML pages. We used to have tools like that, but they died the death for all sorts of reasons. They didn't keep up with the technologies, I think, the web technologies. But that will be the next thing that makes HTML the most acceptable form of notes for students.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, thank you.
excellent. Anyone else? Or
Just have one more question for Steve. Would you, because as you say, it's a very easy to use authoring tool, would you consider giving your students access to the notes in your tool so that they can make notes?
Yes, if they because I generate the tool to export HTML because in our university we got some students feedback. Currently students access the learning materials from mobile phones or from iPad or things. And previously they prefer the PDF because they can directly open it in browser. They don't want to download it as another format, opening another application. But so this is why I allow people to download the final slides or pages as a one HTML file, so student can directly open in the browser rather than switch between tools. So this is the main idea. But I think yes, the Word is still a quite good format for students to making notes, but currently is not added to the editing tools yet. So students can still use it to generate their own comments or the lecture notes or anything, but it haven't support any comments function yet.
Or anybody else, or should we move on to the second point, which is a slight stock take of where we are with demos and templates? Okay, so I've updated the. I'll just stop sharing. I actually want to go back to sharing. I've updated the software and tools page of the website has been the big thing I've done recently. And this is not comprehensive at all. This is just kind of moving some stuff around. So one of the big things I did was snip out bits of the old videos we've got. So instead of watching the whole video, you can just watch, for example, in this one, there's a spelling mistake there. There should be an N. I need to fix that. You can just watch Vincenzo's demonstration of using BookML from the meeting last April, exactly a year ago. So that just kind of runs through some kind of historic things we have and has some templates where they exist. But this is obviously a very non-comprehensive list. I've got kind of Book One, Chiron, some GeoGebra and Pandoc, Quarto, and a bit of Overleaf. Oh, and Stack and Numbers. I've got more than I thought. But it would be good to kind of have more demos, more up-to-date things, more templates. I'm aware lots of the things we had on the website have been a bit out of date. So I know David has got his new Quarto templates. Do you want to just maybe say a few words about those, David, now? Or
1 second, can you hear me right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So these literally I put them live this morning. I made them we got lots of new courses being introduced in stats here in Glasgow, and lots of staff are being asked to make new notes for next year, basically. And most of them already work with R or R Markdown, but haven't worked with Quarto before. And I worked on making some templates that are hopefully super accessible things. There's two formats basically, because I thought some staff will want to make like a book, which is one standalone HTML, which has all the chapters all linking to each other, and one is people who release chapter by chapter. Those chapter by chapter ones will be able to sort of edit chapter 1 separately to chapter 2, but you won't be able to link between them because they're separate documents. Because I didn't make it originally directly to share, well, because I haven't yet made any things for public sharing. If you visit the GitHub pages, there's long readmes explaining all the different features and all the things that are included, but there aren't any screenshot things. I can't, unless I share the screen now, I can't show you what it looked like briefly.
Do you want to share your screen briefly? We can.
I can do if you give me powers, maybe.
If people would, yeah, let's try that. It's always good to see these things.
I won't take long. I'm just going to show you.
Let me just find you.
Yeah.
And there you go. That should have worked.
It should work if I can work out which screen to share. Is that sharing a screen?
There we go. Yeah.
So this was designed for staff who wanted to now have R and Python code at the same time. So you'll see here quickly. There's a nice academic in Germany who's made some nice coloured boxes. But essentially, you've got coloured boxes. You've got, if I press tab, so in Quarto at the moment, you can't, when you move, there's multiple tabs here for like R and Python tabs, so you can have simultaneous things. There's global switching tools. Mostly it's just notes with pretty coloured boxes, and being able to link between things. There's a dark mode which sits like this, and there's a Quarto to PDF which looks obviously white only. It's not quite so pretty formatted because I haven't tried too hard to make all the page page breaking work in HTML in PDF, but if students want PDFs, they can get that as well. This comes with with templates. It comes with an example of a chapter of notes and lots of examples of how to do things. Someone said they don't like the you don't have to use the color boxes. The color boxes are an optional thing you can turn on or turn off. These are accessible colors in the sense that I've made sure all the contrasts of everything are all lovely. If I press here, hopefully you can probably see that I'm getting 0 contrast errors and 0 alt text errors, because all my graphs have all got alt text attached to them and all that kind of stuff. So you can do it. It takes quite a lot of work to try and choose colors that don't cause problems. But if there are problems, by all means, let me know, and I'm happy to try and fix them or avoid these problems. So yes, if you go to the templates, it takes a little bit. It may take you 20 minutes to try and get like the template downloaded and try and run it if you've already used Quarto before. But it should come with a load of chapters explaining how to do links, how to do equations, how to do. In the demo, I've included some numbers things. So in the demo, there's like an iframe, which I've added to Quarto to allow you to embed external websites. And I haven't done, there's a few features I will add in the future, but I won't take up too much more time. I'll go quiet in case anyone wants to ask any questions. I just read in the chat.
Anyone else got? Feel free to stick your hand up if you don't want to question the chat.
There's a bit of chat about the contrast or the dark mode. No, it's not. You haven't got a black one there. Can the user change those colors?
The user can't accept via, because it's in a browser. Obviously, they could have their own browser add-ons that will just customize everything. So I haven't added nice fancy menus to give the customer, so to give the user an easy color switch. But obviously, I'm slightly relying there upon if someone really wants to have certain colors in their backgrounds, obviously they can choose whatever they fancy in terms of the 2 modes. Plus they can like I can manually go into developer tools and just change the color of something. And I hope there are nice add-ons available. If someone really wants to have a certain color in the background, they know how to download the right add-on that will just change that. But I know, yeah, I haven't. If I don't have a numbers one thing. If I embed your numbers thing, the numbers whole fancy menu pops up inside the iframe, for example. So I haven't done that because I'm relying on hoping that someone who wants fancy customized HTML things can just change it themselves.
I mean, it's not that fancy. Like
no, you have to decide where it goes, I guess, and you have to So we have got something in Glasgow for people who are doing LaTeX things who are like an extra menu on the left could be popped out. Yeah, I haven't worked out how to get lots of. It's complicated, I find, in Quarto to get like there's sidebars and there's menu bars and there's trying to get those to all talk to each other nicely and not overlap each other in annoying ways. So yeah. Anyone else have anything in the chat? Having spotted Atkinson hyperlegible font. Yeah, so I made it so that I designed it for staff to like in the repository they can if they just take like the template. Hopefully in here I've explained to them how they can choose all kinds of things. I mean dark mode, sorry. But I've explained to them where various things and how they can customize colors and boxes and things in the README file, so they know which template files to go into and change if they want to change anything. So if you download the template and you hate the font, you can just go and find where it is. It'll be in the global styles, and you can go and change the font whatever you fancy. So I made it to try and make staff who don't like coding very much to sort of download something and just use it. Yes, Christian.
Does Quarto give like just a list of if you need some qualitative dataset colors, can you just say like color 1, color 2, or do you have to explicitly say red, green?
You can define colors essentially. Quarto does have, it uses Bootstrap, but some of the colors that are default in Quarto actually don't meet contrast requirements. For example, captions on pictures. So I have put inside one of the SCSS files, which contains all the colors, at the top a whole list of standard like university colors or names of colors that you can then use in the files below. So hopefully, I'm not an expert on this. It may well be there's some color you want to change, you need to go and find the right name for it, but you can find the right name and change it in the file if you're so inclined. For example, for code, the colors in the code here, you'll see this is the default coloring of R code, and most of the default Quarto coloring highlighting available for code has at least one color which fails the contrast requirements. And when I turn it on, you'll see it in that R1 if I find a bit of R code. I had to manually override a couple of the colors that come in code. This is not a very good one for code. I didn't have much R code in this chapter. But yeah, so this one, like one of these colors by default is bad against almost even against black. But I overrode that one color inside the my things. Thinking of custom color themes. Yeah, there's a long list in Quarto of highlighting colors and color schemes, and lots of them fail contrast requirements.
Yeah, I've never found a color scheme that I can see all of the different colors in. But I'm quite heavily colorblind. So I don't know what we've done. I think we've just given up.
You can just turn it all off. Yeah, like there's an option just to go for pure black in the code, and you can turn off highlighting in the code. That's fine. There's an ally one, yes. So there's someone's copied into the chat. There's one called literally called ally, but it doesn't meet when I in light mode, when I turn on accessibility, there's certain things which come out as bad contrast. There's two ones that have got names like ally or hyper accessible or something, and they both have tiny issues, very tiny issues, but still they'll fail a test. I've overwritten a couple of colors to try and make it work, but I perhaps should just tell the Quarto people to change something.
Okay, I think the nice thing about Quarto is it is open source, so yeah,
So
I think it's also worth maybe chasing them on that.
Yeah, I'll see if I can show you anything else. The main thing for telling staff, if I'm encouraging staff, is that when they put images in, to try and make sure they actually go to the effort of including alt text with their images, so that these things actually contain stuff. But I left it fairly blank and fairly customizable because I wanted other staff to just download it and use it, and if they wanted to change a bit, they can change a bit. So it's not too styled. Basically, it's just kind of, and it should be the PDF works nicely immediately. And people have used it already. Some people who I'll stop showing now. I had a couple of colleagues who didn't really do much Markdown before and don't like anything to do with coding at all, and they have just made notes this in the last 2 months. They have just made notes, and it just seemed to work. So excellent. Right, I'll stop talking.
Thank you, David. That's really useful to have those templates to help people kind of get started.
The annoying thing will it be you will take a bit of time to get started if you don't. You need to be RStudio before, like to download. I've made it as easy as possible to download and get started, but there'll be the packages to install.
You still need to know Quarto.
Yeah.
Yes, cool. But actually, the other use of templates is as a kind of learning tool too. Give people a point to learn from. Is there any other kind of technology that people are using that they desperately want templates for, or they have templates that they use that
I think Ross Parker at Durham told me that he was putting together some templates for Chiron, which we haven't actually done yet. I need to update the Chiron demo page because it doesn't do a great job of explaining actually what Chiron is and how to use it. It's just sort of here all the thing, just one use of each feature, which isn't great.
I've put a link to that page at the moment on the website, but there is a longer video with Ross talking through things, which is good. But maybe if he's got templates on, I send him an email and see if I can put them somewhere. Or I'll keep that signpost to the demo site, and then if that gets updated too, that's good. Anybody else? Anything? I don't think anyone's really. I think I've probably covered most things we normally talk about in this group, but I mean, Verso I've never heard of before today. But does anyone have kind of any new tools that they kind of finding helpful either? Okay. That's useful to know that I'm not missing anything big too. Um, so thank you all for that. And then the final kind of big thing I want to talk about today is on the 8th of June. In Edinburgh, we've got a workshop we're running in Edinburgh with various people here talking about creating accessible HTML course materials. So it's for maths and other related subjects. But there is, I'm just going to stick it in the chat, the registration form. So if you want to come, please do feel free to register your attendance. It's going to be a hybrid conference, so you can attend in person in Edinburgh or online. We just kind of want a rough idea of numbers, particularly in-person numbers, because we need to order some catering. So if you're intending to come, or if you think if you want to, please do. There's also going to be an hour in the afternoon where it's kind of going to be, it's not quite a poster session, but a kind of poster-esque session where you can show what you're doing with accessible maths, and maybe people can wander around and see what different people are going. So we're going to have some bigger talks on, we're going to have someone on Chiron, on Quarto, who else is in this group coming? BookML. We're hopefully going to get someone from Desmos too, actually, so that should be quite exciting. Someone talking about Stack. But if you've got something you want to show, again, there's a bit on that form where you can fill it in, and yeah, we can have some kind of poster session type thing, but maybe with, instead of posters, here's my HTML page. Cool. There is no cost. It is going to be there is no cost if you're joining remotely. If you were coming in person and you're not a speaker, there are of course transport costs, which unfortunately we can't cover. But there is no cost for joining the conference. So that should be fun. Okay, does anyone else have anything else to talk about? I know there are a couple of other conferences too. So there's Digi Accessibility, the big Nottingham conference. I don't have the date off the top of my head. I imagine someone in the group has the date off the top of their head. There is going to be a maths stream. So I think the deadline for submitting things is the 15th of May. So if you would like to have a talk there, there will hopefully be a room that hopefully for the day, or at least part of the day, that will be dedicated to maths accessibility. So please do put in some talks there. We will write a blurb about the June 8th Accessible Maths Conference, hopefully next week. That will happen, and then we'll send out various emails around to, I'm sure you'll get bored of receiving emails about it. What other conferences are there? Does anyone else have any other conferences that need mentioning? We are beginning to hit that season, so I imagine there are lots of things around. Does anyone else have anything else? Otherwise, I think we can all go and enjoy the sun, maybe.
I think we'd love to have a blurb or a web page we can link to for the Edinburgh conference, if there's anything you can do on our JISC Maths website.
I think there will be a page on the JISC Maths site. That is literally a job for us next week. We were just trying to finalize details this week, and I made that registration form about an hour ago. So
brilliant.
I just thought this is a good opportunity to get people to fill it in immediately. But yes, there will be websites and blurbs, and you will probably get lots of emails on all of the different mailing lists. Right, if that's everything, I think we can just finish a bit early then and enjoy this. I know there's chat keeps going, which is quite fun. But yeah, thank you all for coming. If that's it, see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Cordelia, for running these.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.